بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أفضل الصلاة وأفضل التسليم وأما بعد. A subject matter that I want to discuss with you is related to Qur'an al-Karim and Hadith al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. The best among you are those who learn the Qur'an and teach it to others. So تعلم القرآن as such is really a broad area. It's a broad area. It's not really limited to one or more or two aspects of it, because it will start from the most basic level, which is, for example, أحكام التلاوة. أحكام التلاوة التجويد, meaning how to read the Qur'an. It's not like any other text. It has its special rules, special regulations, and so forth. And that's the first thing that you should learn, how to read it correct. And then, of course, you move on to memorizing some of the Qur'an. Some of the Qur'an. Yani, we don't have to be all of us hafiz. Those who have been, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had selected them to be hafiz, they are blessed, alhamdulillah. Yani. And there are always, in any group, they will always find someone who is, Allah will put someone who is a hafiz to take care of things in case the imam forgets something in the recitation or the like. So you then get to the memorization. But then that's not only the whole story about the Quran. There is a lot of knowledge related to the Quran al-Karim, a lot of sub-text in that area of learning the Quran. And I don't know, I may or may have not spoken to you about, for example, الناسخ والمنسوخ من آيات القرآن, right? I may have given a khutbah here about that subject matter. The superseding verses and the superseded verses of the Quran, it's an important subject matter. It requires special study, requires special knowledge, right? Because if you're reading a verse about ahkam and you are assuming that this is the hukm without knowing that this hukm has been superseded by some other elsewhere, you're missing the boat here. Right? And tonight, inshallah, I want to present to you the aspect of al-muhkam wal-mutashabih in the Quran. Al-muhkam wal-mutashabih. So, verses of the Quran al-Karim are described as either muhkam. What is muhkam? Meaning of definitive meaning. Decisive, concise, definitive meaning. Muhkam. والإحكام هو إصابة الهدف لغة, meaning الإحكام linguistically is to hit the target right on. Hence the use of the term. And then there are verses that are called mutashabihat. Mutashabihat means that they warrant different interpretations. They don't have a definitive, unique, precise meaning. On the contrary, they allow for different takes. So you have a muhkam and you have a mutashabih. And today I'm going to give you an idea about that particular subject matter. And muhkam, for example, when you read قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ is an ayah that is muhkamah, meaning it does not allow for any misinterpretation. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. Anybody who hears it will get exactly the same meaning that you and I will get from it. Al-Imam al-Naysaburi, reference to his hometown Naysabur, just like Muslim, for example, right? Or Bukhari when they say, from Bukhara. Naysaburi from Naysabur, he had a study that said that explained this matter, and he said there are three takes on this muhkam mutashabih. There are three takes. The first of which is that Al-Qur'an in its entirety is muhkam. All of the Qur'an is muhkam. And the scholars who use that argument, they say that these are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have to always be concise and muhkam. They shouldn't be any otherwise. Where is your evidence, ya mashayikh, our scholars? They tell us, well, you go to Surah Hud, the opening verse in Surah Hud says, Alif Lam Ra, Kitabun Uhkimat Ayatuh, Thumma Fussilat Min Ladun Hakimin Khabir. This is the opening verse in Surah Hud. Alif Lam Ra, Huruf al-Muqatta'a. Kitabun Uhkimat. Allah is describing the book that it is a book whose verses are definitive. Kitabun Uhkimat Ayatuh. Thumma Fussilat. And then it's been explained and expanded upon. By whom? By Allah, who is the all-wise and the all-knowing. So they have dalil, right? They have the proof that the Qur'an Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing it as a book whose verses are muhkamat. Then there is another group of scholars that will tell you, well, not really. We do believe that the entire Qur'an is mutashabih. Meaning that no one really can tell without a doubt what the meaning of a given verse is in the Qur'an al-Karim. So we asked them, where did you get this notion, our dear scholars? And they will tell you, well, go to Qur'an al-Karim again, and now we're referring to Surah al-Zumar, to verse 23. The verse goes something like that. Allahu nazzala ahsan al-hadithi kitaban mutashabihan mathaniya taqsha'ru minhu juludu alladhina yakhshawna rabbahum thumma talinu juluduhum ila dhikrillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is saying that Allah had sent upon you, ya Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam, Allahu nazzala ahsan al-hadith, the best words, kitaban mutashabihan, a book that is interpretable. So he's describing here the book as mutashabih. And then he gives it another description here with that which is mathani. Mathani from the duality, the two. Muthanna is the two in the Arabic language. Mathani is the dualities in the Qur'an al-Karim. And scholars will tell you that those dualities are dimensions in the Qur'an al-Karim that refer to one thing and its opposite. Mathani, al-Jannah wal-Nar, al-Layl wal-Nar, al-Samawat wal-Ard, and so forth. They tell you this is the Mathani. So, in this ayah, Allah is telling us, Allahu nazzala ahsan hadithi kitaban mutashabihan mathani. تقشعر منه جلود الذين يخشون ربهم. Meaning, تقشعر meaning that the skins of those who fear Allah will quiver when they listen to the words of Allah. When you listen to the verses of Allah, you feel that your skin is quivering. ثم تلين جلودهم, and then it eases off. Those skins are eased off. وقلوبهم ثم تلين جلودهم وقلوبهم إلى ذكر الله. ذلك هدى الله يهدي به من يشاء ومن يضلل الله فما له من هاد. The continuation of the verse, the complete mention here. So we now have seen some group of scholars saying that all the verses of the Qur'an are muhkamat. We have seen a group that says all the verses of the Qur'an are mutashabihat, and each has the dalil. It tells you something about this deen, that it allows for and accepts the diversity of thought. But then there is a third group that comes and says, neither of the previous two groups are entirely correct. You see, they don't say they are wrong. They say they're not fully correct. Why? Because in reality, Al-Qur'an contains a combination of both. There are verses that are definitive, but there are also verses that are interpretable. You see? And then we ask this group of scholars, where is your evidence? And they tell you, go and look at verse number 7 of Ali Imran. What does Allah say there? هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب منه آيات محكمات هن الكتاب وأخر متشابهات. سليم. يعني الله is سليم. هو الله سبحانه وتعالى هو الذي أنزل عليك يا محمد. He sent upon you يا محمد الكتاب منه آيات محكمات, some of which verses are definitive, and these Allah describes as هن الكتاب, meaning it really doesn't lend itself well to translation verbatim, because al-Kitab meaning the mother of the book. That doesn't mean much in other languages than the Arabic language. But in the Arabic language it means that these are the basic corners of the book. These are the fundamental verses of the book. al-Kitab. وَأُخَرُ مُتَشَابِهَاتٍ, and others that are interpretable. You see? Let me continue the verse for you, because we're going to stay a little bit with this verse of Al-Imran here. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ زَيْغٌ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ مَا تَشَابَهَ مِنْهُ ابْتِغَاءَ الْفِتْنَةِ وَابْتِغَاءَ تَأْوِيلِهِ. Those whose hearts are sick, are astray, has gone astray, فَيَتَّبِعُونَ مَا تَشَابَهَ مِنْهُ, they will follow those verses that are interpretable, those gray areas. But why? ابتغاء الفتنة. They are seeking fitna, actually. They're not seeking knowledge here. They want to go to an area where nobody has a clear answer, of course, because it's a verse that is interpretable, meaning it warrants different takes. They will go to that. ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله. And they want to interpret it in the way that suits their own desires. You see? And that's not a good thing. And then Allah says, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ إِلَّا اللَّهُ. No one knows the true interpretation of this book but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Talking about those mutashabihat now, right? Because al-muhkamat we all understand, right? Allah is not talking about the mutashabihat. وَمَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ, the interpretation of those interpretable verses are only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ يَقُولُونَ آمَنَّ بِهِ كُلٌّ مِنْ عِنْدِ رَبِّنَا وَمَا يَذَّكَّرُ إِلَّا أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. The last part of the verse. وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ, those with solid knowledge of the deen. الراسخ from rasakha, and rasakha is to stand affirmed and solid. Yani it's used to describe, for example, a mountain. جبل راسخ. A mountain is steadfast. والراسخون في العلم, those with solid knowledge, يقولون آمنا به, we believe in what Allah sent us. كل من عند ربنا, it's all from Allah. وما يذكر إلا أولو الألباب, and it's only those with good intelligent minds who reflect and take note. Subhanallah. So you have now three takes. And Naisaburi says, among with the majority of scholars, that this is the correct assessment of al-muhkam wal-mutashabih. That minhu ayatul muhkamat al-kitab wa ukhar mutashabihat. That is those types of verses, and then also the other type of verses. Muhkam wa mutashabih are all present in the Qur'an al-Kareem. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم said, نزل القرآن على 5 أوجه. The Quran has been sent on 5 forms. 5 forms. Halal, وحرام, محكم ومتشابه وأمثال. So these are the 5 forms that the Nabi described are in the Qur'an. Halal وحرام, we don't need to translate any of that, yeah, it's clear. محكم ومتشابه we also have explained now. وأمثال, أمثال meaning the examples that Allah gives in the Qur'an. The examples that Allah gives in the Qur'an. And then he adds sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فَعْمَلُوا بِحَلَالٍ وَاجْتَنِبُوا حَرَامًا. Then follow its halal and refrain from its haram. وَاتَّبِعُوا مُحْكَمًا, and follow the lead of the verses that are muhkam. محكمات. وَآمِنُوا بِالْمُتَشَابِهِ, and believe in that which is interpretable. Just believe in it as is. وَاعْتَبِرُوا بِالْأَمْثَالِ, and take wisdom from those examples that are cited in the Qur'an al-Karim. نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص. In the Qur'an al-Karim, plenty of stories. Those stories are not for entertainment purposes. No, these are words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are for reflection. When you read the story of Musa, story of Yusuf, story of whatever, Qawm Lut, whomever, Allah is not telling you that to entertain you. He's telling you that so that you reflect and take note and come up with a way of life for yourself. This is how we approach the matter of al-muhkam wal-mutashabih. Now we come to al-mutashabih and we want to focus on that a little bit more and say, طيب, a question then begs itself, which is, does anybody know the interpretable verses of the Quran? Does anybody can claim that they have the knowledge of what these mutashabihat really mean? And I see Rohan shaking his head no, and he has the right answer indeed. It is indeed. But again, it was urgent. Yeah, it was not taken for granted, that answer. However, I'll tell you, for example, Al-Imam al-Nawawi. Al-Nawawi, we're not talking about a lightweight scholar, no. We're talking about Nawawi, صاحب الأربعين, النووي, hadith الأربعين النووي, and many other Adhkar and many other books, a great scholar. But he is of the opinion that some people may have the knowledge of the interpretable ayat, of the mutashabihat. It is not beyond the knowledge of us. And when asked why, Ya Shaykh Nawawi, he said, I don't think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would address us with something that we cannot understand. It's a good point. It's a good point. However, it's a very, it's among the very small minority of scholars who believe in that. So here, Imam al-Nawawi was in a small minority. And you go to the verse of Al Imran that we mentioned now, and you read, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ إِلَّا اللَّهُ, and no one but Allah knows the interpretation of those mutashabihat. Tamam? Then the following is وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ يَقُولُونَ آمَنَّا بِهِ. So scholars will stop here and have a grammatical argument about this this wow. وَمَا يَذَكَّرُ إِلَّا أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ. So they say, what is this wow? Is it a form of atf? And if it is, then مَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ. Then both Allah and الرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ will know the interpretation of al-mutashabihat. That is, if you take that wow for and, referring to atf. Another group will say, no, this waw is not for atf. It is for what they call al-isti'naf. Al-isti'naf, meaning what? Meaning for starting a new statement. Starting a new statement. Yani when somebody is reading the news on television, they say something and then they say, and on a different front, the weather is wet and rainy and cloudy. So they were talking about something, now they're talking about something in istinaf. They have moved to another point now. But who are among those who believe that this waw is for istinaf is none other or none less than Abdullah ibn Abbas. Right? And a majority of scholars will tell you that waw is not for atf ala Allah, but for istinaf, to state a new statement that follows. وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ يَقُولُونَ آمَنَّا بِهِ كُلٌّ مِّنْ عِنْدِ رَبِّنَا وَمَا يَذَّكَّرُ إِلَّا أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. That's, by and on itself, is a separate statement. If such is the case, then it's only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who knows the interpretable verses and their true intent and their true meaning. الآيات المتشابهات. السيدة عائشة رضوان الله عليها, she mentioned that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when reading this verse, and he read it up to the end, وَمَا يَذَّكَّرُ إِلَّا أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ, and stopped, and he said, if you saw somebody who are trying to do the ta'wil, ابتغاء الفتنة, then beware of them, be cautious of them, because those are the ones that Allah had described early on in the verse. What did Allah describe those people as? فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ زَيْغٌ. Those are the people whose hearts have gone astray. Then you gotta be watchful of those. You gotta be suspicious of those. That these are the words of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you see somebody going to a mutashabih and trying to take you there, then be careful. That's not a good thing. Be watchful of that. Subhanakallahumma Rabbi. Sometimes I get subjected to these things, by the way, in the Qur'an, and subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants you at least the wisdom to be able to understand where the person coming to you with the question is coming from, to be able to respond. Last Friday we mentioned, for example, عن ابن سيرين التابعي الجليل, Ibn Sirin who has a text, it's a standard by the title of Tafsir al-Ahlam, right? The interpretation of dreams. That was his forte. He used to have that ability from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And on one occasion, a man comes to him and says, Ya Shaykhana, I dreamt that I was hearing al-adhan, Allahu Akbar, Allahu al-adhan, hearing the adhan while I'm sleeping. What does that mean? What does that dream mean? So Ibn Sirin tells the man, you are going to Hajj this year. And the man was elated and left. Some very little time later, another man comes and tells Ibn Sirin that he has seen exactly the same dream. I have dreamt that I am listening to the adhan. What does that mean? And Ibn Sirin looks at him and he says, you are going to be going to jail. Allah. The two men, within a very short period of time, asking the same question, he gives one answer to one, a totally different answer to the other. So the people sitting asked Ibn Sirin, Ya Shaykh, how come? And he explained to them, he said, The first man, when he came to me, I looked at his face, I saw the light of the faith of Iman was in his face, in his eyes. And when he told me about hearing the adhan, I remember the verse وَأَذِّنْ فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ. الآية of Surah Al-Hajj. تمام? Allah is addressing Ibrahim, and therefore I told him you are going to Hajj. How about the other man? Well, the other man, I looked at him, I saw evil in his face. I didn't see any good coming from him. And immediately came to my mind the verse in Surah Yusuf, verse 70. وَأَذَّنَ مُؤَذِّنٌ أَيَّتُهَا الْعِيرُ إِنَّكُمْ لَسَارِقُونَ. Remember the caravan of Yusuf's brothers coming to Yusuf in Egypt for supplies and then going back, and the cup of the king, the golden measuring cup being put, you know the story. وَأَذَّنَ مُؤَذِّنٌ أَيَّتُهَا الْعِيرُ. All these camels, there is a thief among you. Right? So he gave him what happened to the man in the story, which is that he was jailed. And remember, the brothers of Yusuf, this was Binyamin, his sibling from both mom and dad. The rest of the brothers are from another mother, you see. But this Binyamin is Yusuf's brother from his mother and father. And now, Yusuf is telling them, okay, they find, of course, after the search, they find the cup in his, and they say, okay, you're going to be held captive now.
Until you bring your father.
Bring us somebody we can talk to. The brothers of Yusuf, they know what they have done to Yusuf, of course, many, many years ago. And now they're going to go back to their father and say, we have lost Binyamin also? That's a difficult proposition. So they say, you know what? Take any of us. There's 9 of us here. Take any of us and just let this guy go. They know that the Yaqub is going to be mad. And of course Yusuf says, we don't keep, except the one whom we found is guilty of the theft. But this is an example of the different interpretations that are given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fatah. This is fatah for Allah. And it is, by the way, it is not something that is that lends itself to teaching. You cannot teach somebody to interpret dreams. No. It's either a gift from Allah that is there, or it's not. Because there is a lot of scam artists, and I see those all the time on satellite television. By the way, tell you that the Sheikh Fulan, he will give you the interpretation of your dream, and you sit and watch, and you find, subhanallah, things that are ludicrous, ya Sheikh Fulan, ludicrous. I am dreaming this and I am dreaming that, and then the Sheikh goes in and delves with the story and takes on Allahu Akbar. And then I think to myself, what's going on with the Ummah al-Muslimin? What's going on? Because on those satellite channels, I sorted the following: dream interpretations, astrological signs, Burg, what are you, this or that, and all of these things, and ilaj bil a'shab, treatment by medication by natural herbs. That's all the activity that's going on those channels. And I tell myself, subhanAllah, the rest of the world is talking about long-range ballistic missiles and this and technology that is of computers and this and that, and we're still talking about treating people with a'shab and actually killing them in the process. Because it's a known fact that a lot of people die from that, because these are never tested, they are never FDA approved, they are nothing, and people take them just like that, and they get kidney failures and they die. And the other one is al-abrar, the horoscopes. No, you should not marry him because you are a Leo and he's a Pisces and this and that. Subhanallah. Anyway, so back to our subject matter. We say that the rule is, the governing rule is that if you want to explain al-mutashabih, take it back to al-muhkam and see how it fits with it. Then you can explain it. But never do the opposite. Never try to explain al-muhkam by seeking the interpretation from al-mutashabih. Doesn't work this way. Ulama, they say, man akasa, he who does the opposite, inakas. He will get himself the opposite result, that is, the one intended, yeah. ومن عكس انعكس. So, and because the Qur'an is always interpreted through the Qur'an, يعني the best tafasir of the Qur'an will tell you that are those that make the tafsir of the Qur'an by the Qur'an. You see? So you have a verse somewhere that is kind of unsettling to you, so you try to search somewhere else where a similar meaning arises in the Qur'an Kareem, and you go to that and see how does it relate to the one I'm interested in here, and that way you can have clarity of the interpretation. But always take the mutashabih to the muhkam to get the meaning for it. Never take the muhkam to the mutashabih, because then you fall into الذين في قلوبهم زيغ والعياذ بالله. So this is really all I wanted to say about this subject matter for now, and I would like to give a chance for everyone to maybe ask questions or make commentary and the like, if you have any additions to this topic or any other.
So how many are
Mr. Shah.
and how many are the, like you mentioned about Qul Huwallahu Ahad?
Now,
Akam, which one, how many are there in the Quran?
there is no specific count.
Okay.
There is no specific count. But those verses that are muhkamat are usually related to ahkam. Ahkam. ولله على الناس حج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا. العمران. This is a verse that is muhkam. It's a verse that mandates al-hajj for Muslims. That's muhkam, right? A verse that is, for example, now we go back to the nasikh wal mansukh. A verse that is mansukh should be a mutashabih. For example, يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى. If you take this verse at face value, it will tell you what? It will tell you Allah is addressing the mu'mineen, يا أيها الذين آمنوا, you and I. You shall not approach the prayer while intoxicated. Then the clear meaning of the verse is what? The apparent meaning is what? Is that you can be intoxicated at times. مش كده? And at those times, please, if you are light-headed, don't pray. But this verse is a verse that is superseded. It's a verse that is superseded. This is a verse in Surah An-Nisa, verse 43.
What is superseded?
Superseded meaning that
Which one?
which one supersedes it?
Yeah.
Surah Al-Ma'idah 90.
Okay.
إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه. Allah here is saying khamr, booze, maisir, gambling, والأنصاب والأزلام, other things as well. رجس من عمل الشيطان. This is a filth from shaitan, so stay away from it. خلاص. And this was the process by which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen to gradually take the early Muslims off booze, right? Because it came on 3 steps here, Shahid. The first step was, or the first mention was in Surah Al-Baqarah, مش كده؟ in Surah Al-Baqarah. يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر, مش كده؟ يا محمد, يسألونك يا محمد. They'll ask you about الخمر والميسر. قل إيه؟ فيهما اسم كبير ومنافع للناس وإثمهما أكبر بالنفع. You will tell them that there is a lot of ithm, there's a lot of in those actions, the khamr and the maisar, ومنافع للناس. Allah, whereas they carry a lot of sin, there is also some benefit in them. Allah. So obviously this is a very mild approach to revoking that notion of drinking. But it only says that there is a lot of sin in doing those, and there is some benefit. How? Some benefit, ya akhi? Well, you open a casino, you make a lot of money. Right? You have a bar, you make a lot of money. I had this argument with one of my clients. Subhanallah. He had a gas station actually. And up north around Sacramento. And I was doing the blueprints and stuff like that for him. And after some time, he met me and I said, how is the gas station doing? He said, I wanted to ask you. I said, what? He said, I would like to have a few fridges on the side to have beer and liquor on the side. What do you think? I said, you're coming to me to ask me if I'm going to tell you that it's okay to sell booze? Subhanallah. You cannot get a fatwa from me. La ilaha illallah. Why do you want to do that? He said, you can't believe that this is the only area where any gas station can make some money. I didn't know that, but he explained to me, he said, gas stations, they don't make money from the gas. The margin in the gas is very slim. How do they make money? They make it in their convenience store inside. You go there and you get yourself a 7-Up or a biscuit or something, and or of course a beer or what have you. This is how they make the money. طيب, there is some benefit there, but this is superseded by يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى حتى تعلموا ما تقولون. You shall not approach the prayer until you know what you are reciting. مش كده? And the occasion of that was in the Medina, after the Hijrah. After the Hijrah, a couple of years. Whereupon, one of the Sahaba was praying in Maghrib, I believe it was, and reciting and he was lightheaded. And of course, the recitation went very badly. Actually, he was reciting Al-Kafirun, and he messed it up completely. قل يا أيها الكافرون أعبد ما تعبدون تعبدون ما أعبد الله خلاص he's سكران, right? He's drunk. The man is drunk. فالله سبحانه وتعالى said ولا تقولوا سكران حتى تعلموا ما تقولون, until you acknowledge or understand what is it that comes out of your mouth. So that's another stage of tightening the knot about the khamr, right? Because now you have to pray 5 times a day. Like, how are you going to drink and pray with a clear head? You go through, you scan the day, the 24 hours, you'll find that technically speaking, you cannot do it any time except after Isha. Technically, for all practical purposes, so that if you drink after Isha, by the time Fajr comes, you have got over your hangover or something like that. So that was again to spread the interval between such time as such. Then you come to إنما الخمر والأدب. By the way, subhanallah, Umar bin Khattab, we're not talking about any Sahabi now. Not unlike the rest of the Sahaba and the Qurashiyin, was a big boozer, heavy boozer. So when يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل فيهما اسم كبير ومنافع للناس came down, Umar raised his hand and made a dua and said, Ya Allah, Allahumma أرنا في الخمر بيانا شافيا. He realized that this is not a definite response about الخمر. So he said, oh Allah, give us a definite answer about this subject matter, Ya Allah. So when the next verse of Surah An-Nisa, يا الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى, came, he again did the same thing. He raised his hand and said, Ya Allahumma أرنا في الخمر بيانا شافيا. This is still, it says that you cannot pray while drunk, but it doesn't say you shouldn't drink. So we want a definite answer.
It's gray.
مش كده? It's still a gray area, كريم. Then Allah says, إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان, filth of the shaitan's doing. فاجتنبوه. بقية الآية says what? 1991. إنما يريد الشيطان أن يوقع بينكم العداوة والبغضاء في الخمر والميسر ويصدكم عن ذكر الله. فهل أنتم منتهون? You see back. See? The question at the end of the tail end of this verse 91 is saying was, فهل أنتم منتهون? Watch it, because the shaitan wants to instill animosity and hatred between among you through الخمر والميسر. فهل أنتم منتهون? Are you going to now refrain from it? And when Omar read this verse and heard this verse, he raised his hand and said, انتهينا يا ربنا. We're done with it, Ya Allah. Now he has his answer that he was looking for. خلاص رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه. خلاص. Now, if you go about that without knowing the sequence of the nasikh wa mansukh, the superseding and the superseded, you may get the wrong idea. مش كده? Then that puts you in the mutashabih area, you see? And this is why, subhanallah, when one of the guys came, he actually handed me a mushaf into my hand and he said, Sheikh, show me where in the book does it say that al-khamr is haram. فأما الذين في قلوبهم زيغ فيتبعون ما تشابه منه ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله. Of course, if I took the book and flipped the 600 pages plus of it, you will not find the verse in the Qur'an that says حرمت عليكم الخمر. It doesn't say that. إنما unlike, for example, حرمت عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير. These are definitive matters. But it doesn't say that about the khamr. But what does Allah say about the khamr? He says, فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ. رِجِسٌ مِنْ عَمَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ. Al-ijtinab meaning to stay completely away from something. And that is even a stronger command than to say, this is haram. Example. الزنا والعياذ بالله. Did Allah say, حرم عليكم الزنا? No. What did Allah say? ولا تقربوا الزنا. ولا تقربوا الزنا. إنه كان فاحشة وساء سبيلا. شوف ازاي؟ Allah is saying, don't get near that matter. Because that's a deadly spiral, downward spiral. Right? Allah knows. Right? In any action that is haram, you are never going to be prohibited from thinking about or approaching or doing the preliminaries of something. Allah will not judge you for that. So, for example, if we sit now and do a blueprint of the floor plan of Bank of America and plan a robbery of its ATM machines or something, all of this action and so forth is within the realm of non-action. If at the end of the day you say, SubhanAllah, why are we thinking that way? Let's do something else. We have nothing there. But when it comes to this aspect of zina, you will find it differently. This is the one area where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا, don't come near that thing. Meaning what? Meaning even the preliminaries are prohibited. Right? It always starts with a look. And the look develops to something else. And something else develops into a word. And the word develops into a downward spiral. And you find yourself in a place where you don't want to be. This is the example of متشابهات. You see? And this guy here, when he said that, by the way, I didn't even crack the Mus'haf open when he asked me that. I said, no, it is not such a statement that you're requesting, you will not find it in the Qur'an. But when Allah says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا, He's telling you, don't even come near, right? I know, for example, that there is a certain area in town that is a rough area, right? And I tell my kids, when you're driving, you know what? I don't want you to get near that area. Drive so far away from it. You see? It's much better and more strong a command than telling them, don't drive through this area. No. Don't ever get near that area. You see the difference? Rohan, you had a question.
Yeah. So, as per the understanding is that the majority of scholars are on the opinion that it contains both muhkamat and mutashabihat. Minority is muhkamat and mutashabihat purely. Which scholar, if you know of any such, who supports the view that it's entirely mutashabihat?
Entirely mutashabihat?
Yeah, any famous well-known scholar?
Al-Imam al-Nawawi. Al-Imam al-Nawawi.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said the entire Qur'an is mutashabihat.
Al-Imam Nawawi.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is why I was surprised, to be honest with you. Why would you take this position whereupon that the majority is of a different position?
What position is it again? I'm sorry, of Imam Nawawi. What
His rationale was that Allah will not address us with that which we cannot understand, which is a good point on its surface, but doesn't stand the test of the reality of the verses of the Qur'an. Tamam? Shahid?
The last thing you mentioned about the story, the third one.
Aywa.
So how does that, there's a lot of stories in the Quran.
Aywa al-Amthal.
Yeah.
Nah.
So how does it relate to mutashabihat?
No, it is not. It is a fifth different category. You have the halal, you have the haram, you have the muhkam, you have the mutashabih, you have the amthal. These are the forms in which the verses of the Quran come. فالأمثال is neither related to al-halal or haram, or it can be related to all. Right? Does that answer?
No, it did not.
No.
What I understand is a lot of stories about Hazrat Musa salam, and other stories like in Surah Al-Baqarah, about these people in a cave. So all I'm saying is, how does it relate to us, what we want to learn out of that?
What we want to learn out of that?
Yes. Is it some reason behind it, those stories, for us?
Yes.
Where Allah wants to tell us something?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for example, we mentioned that last time also. Remember when we talked about, I don't know if it was last Friday or not, but we were talking about now how it is forbidden for a Muslim, a believer, mu'min or mu'mina, to disobey a command from Allah or His Messenger. And I think I mentioned to you the verse from Surah Al-Ahzab, if I'm not mistaken, number 36, wherein the Mawla says, وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَةٍ أن إذا قضى الله ورسوله أمرا أن يكون لهم الخيرة من أمرهم. For a mu'min or a mu'mina, man or woman, they have no choice so long as Allah and His Messenger have mandated something. They have no choice to say, yeah, I will take it, or no, I will not take that. تمام؟ وما كان لمؤمن ولا مؤمنة إذا قضى الله ورسوله أمرا أن يكون لهم الخيرة من أمره ومن يعص الله ورسوله فقد ضل ضلالا مبينا. He who disobeys Allah and His Messenger had gone far astray. You see, I will get to your question, but I just want to satisfy Shahid's request for an answer here. Now, what we're saying here is that this is a story related to the time where the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam went to Zainab bint Jahsh to propose for her to marry Zayd ibn Harith, who was at one point called Zayd ibn Muhammad, until Allah said, "Ad'uhum li abai." They should take the names of their fathers. So he went back to Zayd ibn Harith. وكان مولى النبي. He was in the household of Sittira Khadija or Nabi, helping Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the Nabi used to love this man. So when he was of age, he wanted to go and propose for Sittina Zainab bint Jahsh. And Sittina Zainab, at the time, she's from a tribe called Bani Asad. Bani Asad are known for their pride and sharp temper. So when the Nabi said, "I'm here to propose for you to marry Zayd," she said, "No, I don't marry him. She is a high social status lady in her tribe, and Zayd is a mawla. He's been captured in one of those ghazawat or wars and taken to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She thought that it's not equivalent, it's not an equivalent choice for her. And she said no. And the Nabi said no, you will marry him. And she said no, I'm not going. And then argued until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that very verse, وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَةٍ إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا أَنْ يَكُونَ لَهُمُ الْخِيَرَةُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِمْ. If Allah and His Messenger made the command, خلاص, done. When she listened to that, she took note of the latter part, وَمَنْ يَعْصِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولُهُ. And she said, I'm not going to be disobedient to you, Ya Rasulullah. I will marry him. And she did marry. You see? What they're saying to you, Mr. Shahid, is that although she did oblige at the end and got married to Zayd, that marriage was destined to fail. It was destined to fail. It did not succeed. And repeatedly Zayd, a proud man, proud Sahabi, Mawla Rasul, and he used to go to the Nabi and say, I want out of this marriage, Ya Rasulullah. And Rasulullah, according to the Qur'an, said, Amsik alayka zawjak. Hold to your wife. Hold to your wife. Until Zayd could not take it anymore. And that is actually one area wherein a marriage is doomed to fail, where the wife thinks and treats the husband as an inferior being to her. No marriage will ever succeed that way. If that man is a lowly janitor, poor, and he will not accept that his wife would look down upon him. It doesn't work. And at the very end, they separated. And when they separated, what happened? فَلَمَّا قَضَى زَيْدٌ مِنْهَا وَطَرًا زَوَجْنَاكَ. Allah, what happened is that after she got divorced from Zayd, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose Zainab bint Jahsh to be Mu'mineen, to marry Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Subhanallah. طيب, here you find there is a reason. Back to your question. There is a reason. The reason is what? Is to say that, by the way, Zayd was not Ibn Muhammad. Zayd was not Ibn Muhammad. He was Ibn Harith. Right? Because if he were Ibn Muhammad, then Muhammad would not be able to marry. I cannot marry the wife of my son, even if he divorces her, خلاص. خلاص. This is called تحريم إيه؟ بائن. تحريم بائن. يعني it's eternal حرام. من محرمات تحريم بائن. Just like your mother and your sister. تحريم بائن. مش كده؟ غير التحريم الرجعي اللي هو في الطلاق مثلا where you can take back your wife and, if it's not reached 2-3 times of talaq and the like. Now, by the way, I mentioned also that the single name of a Sahabi that is mentioned in the Quran Kareem is Zayd. Zayd. It's not Abu Bakr. No, it's not Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr is referred to as صاحبه. قال لصاحبه لا تحزن إن الله معنا. مش كده؟ migration trip. But زيد. سبحان الله مكانه. Does that answer now?
Yes,
طب الحمد لله.
You mentioned about dreams.
Dreams.
Now, I read a hadith that if the Prophet ﷺ is seen in a dream, I mean, is that a...
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you brought this point up. There is a hadith. The Nabi tells us, رؤيا الأنبياء حق. A dream of a prophet or a messenger is a true reality, is a reality.
Any prophet?
Any prophet. Any prophet, even the one who dreamt that he is going to slaughter his own son. And he took him to the altar and he was ready to slaughter him. Because he knew. هو نبي. Ibrahim, Abu al-Anbiya. And that what he saw is a ru'ya from Allah. And that he is going to have to oblige. Until ففديناه بكبش عظيم. مش كده؟ طيب. So it's different.
Yeah.
From your and my dream. It's different. By the way, we are not saying that there aren't people who are blessed with some of that gift. We're not denying that. We're just saying you and I should not lead our lives along those thoughts. Yeah, we should not. إنما I have seen Allah, and subhanallah, actually it was my maternal grandmother, rahmatullah alayha. She had this thing. She would, her son would be traveling, planning a trip, for example. And she would wake up one morning and she'd say to him, Ahmed, his name was Ahmed, my uncle, don't go on this trip. Allah, Ya Ummi, and this and that, don't go on this trip. And by the way, my uncle used to actually believe in what she says. Because she has been proven right on several occasions with what she sees in her dreams. She was one of those people, yeah. But other than that, you and I cannot really go on with our lives, being superstitious of this or that, or seeing a black cat no. You cannot lead that way. That's not the way of a Muslim to lead their life. لا طيرة ولا تطير. Hadith. You should not take any superstition when it comes to your life. You say توكلت على الله وإذا عزمت فتوكل. You go ahead and do your thing. تمام. Does that answer that one? Yes. Alhamdulillah. Mr. Saeed, no questions tonight? Alhamdulillah. Anybody else with any questions? Because Mr. Kareem.
Go back to your friend in Sacramento.
What?
I
he was trying to get a fatwa, you see?
Yeah, I have my family knows someone in Morocco that owns a 4-star hotel in Marrakesh. And he has a bar, the owner has a bar. But he does not get the income from the bar. He rents the bar